Welcome back. AARP Wisconsin is releasing poll results this week, finding an edge for Republicans in top-line races for governor and U.S. Senate this November. That edge coming particularly from those 50 and older. I'm now joined by the AARP's Jane Flaherty, Communications Director. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
If we could, let's start by talking about the poll's methodology. How many people surveyed? How was this poll conducted?
Yeah, absolutely. There was about 1,400 folks across Wisconsin interviewed. We had pollsters from both sides. So we had a Republican firm and a Democratic firm, so it's very trustworthy. They did the poll over a one-week period from September 18th to 25th, and we oversampled for African Americans and for older folks over that time.
Absolutely. So I mentioned in the intro, the top-line results here do find a slight edge for Republicans, particularly in the governor's race, the Senate's race. Talk me through some of those findings.
Well, the findings are showing that it is unbelievably tight, and that both parties have maxed out their base. So Republicans are going to vote for both Republican candidates. Democrats are going to vote for both Democratic candidates. So the race is really going to come down to the independents, and that's showing a slight edge for both Republicans at this point. But, you know, we always call it a horse race poll because it really is a horse race. You know, you think about an actual Kentucky Derby, it gets really tight and volatile down the stretch when the horses are trying to win. So, you know, this is a poll, it's not an election. So it's really a very tight race right now, and we're going to be watching the next few weeks to see what happens.
Something that I think is reflected in a lot of polls. Marquette Law School poll, other polls that have been conducted in Wisconsin. So we're right in the margin of error there when it comes to tight races. Were there differences in results from age groups, right? So I mentioned there's a particular lead on 50 and older, but your poll didn't just focus on people 50 and older, correct?
Yeah, right. It was all voters. It did show a slight edge for both Republican candidates for the 50-plus voters. I think it was 50-47 and 51-46, and then 1 percentage point higher for those 50-plus. But I got to tell you, there's a huge base of independent voters who are really still making up their minds, still listening to the candidates, still trying to decide. And there's lots of key issues that are on their minds, and the voters are going to be listening to what the candidates have to say on the issues that are most important to them.
So let's talk about those issues. You asked about inflation, you asked about crime, you asked about abortion, you asked about other things. Talk me through kind of what the biggest things were.
Absolutely. Pocketbook issues right now are huge. So people are worried about inflation, they're worried about food costs, groceries, their drug prices, everything, gasoline. So they're worried. They're worried about 65% of those polled said that they're personally worried about their financial situations. Social Security and Medicare and prescription drugs are huge with the 50-plus population. The poll shows that 84% of people polled said they're more likely to vote for a candidate who will protect Social Security from cuts. That's gigantic. There's also a lot of grouchiness right now among voters, as you're probably aware. 84% of those voted say they don't believe the candidates are listening to their voices. And AARP has got an initiative called In My Shoes, where we're going all across the state of Wisconsin and the whole country, trying to find out what's top of mind on voters, collecting their opinions, passing them along to candidates, because that's critically important between now and November 8th, is for the candidates to actually tune in to where these undecided voters are.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the poll results. Thanks for coming on and talking about them. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, we'd love to have people go to our website, aarp.org/WI. We've got everything we've been talking about today and more is on there. And we just really encourage everybody to get what they need and get out and vote on November 8th.